Hey everybody, hello and welcome to this CBT Nuggets webinar titled Exploring NetApp Storage Products with Anthony Sequeira. Before I hand things off to Anthony, I just have a couple of reminders for everyone. Firstly is that the chat pod is totally available to you to ask any questions you might have during the webinar, and Anthony's going to do his best to get to those at the end of the webinar. And finally, I wanted to remind everyone that there's going to be a recording of this webinar posted to our blog, blog.cbtnuggets.com, later today. With that, though, I think we're all set. Anthony, take it away.
Hey, thank you so much, Anthony. That's right, 2 Anthonys for the price of 1 in today's webinar. That was Anthony T, and I'm, of course, Anthony S here at CBT Nuggets, and I am absolutely thrilled to see all of the friendly students in the audience for this live webinar, where we're going to just kind of introduce NetApp to you a little bit and NetApp storage products and talk about the NetApp training that we just completed here at CBT Nuggets. So let's jump in. And I first wanted to start this by just kind of talking about exciting new advancements in storage technology that are taking place right now. So if you're like me, and storage was the last area of mastery for you, I know my particular journey was mastering client operating systems, and then software applications, and then server operating systems. This would be our compute category, of course. And then I got into networking heavy and started mastering things like network infrastructure, network security, and then finally, I got into the storage aspects of our networking that we have today and really started specializing in storage. If you're like me and you left storage to last, I've got great news. There are absolutely amazing new storage technologies that are happening right now that make it a very, very exciting time. 3 of those advancements that we have today are storage virtualization. Now, anytime we say virtualization, I want you to immediately envision the physical devices being separate and distinct from the logical representation that like your end users would see. And by the way, NetApp, as you might guess, recognizes these 3 advancements, and they are working incredibly hard at producing software and hardware to address these things. For instance, when it comes to storage virtualization, we can take these really cool arrays of disks, and we can go ahead and cluster them together. So let's just go ahead and draw here, and notice they're interconnected. So we've got these 4 clusters of arrays. Inside these arrays are many, many disks. So just think about this. That is a look at our physical infrastructure. We've got all of these devices with all of these disks inside them. And the beauty of storage virtualization is that we can present, we'll just call them volumes for simplicity, we can present volumes to our end users, and these volumes can be made up of any of these disks from any of these particular devices. This is an incredible level of virtualization that we have today, and as you might guess, this allows us to more readily provision and manage storage for our users like never before. I mean, if this particular volume is getting hammered, we can very easily add physical disks to it and grow its overall size, and that can occur transparently from the end user. Just like if we want to completely reorganize the physical disks that make up that volume, be done transparently to our end users. We might have this volume over here that for whatever reason is being really underutilized. No problem. We can remove physical disks from it and shrink it in a virtualized world. Now, another great technological advancement that's here, And I have become quite addicted to it as someone that uses technology every day. It's flash storage. Yeah, I'm becoming a flash storage snob. Any new machine I buy, as a matter of fact, is going to have at very least a hybrid configuration for disk storage. In fact, I just bought a new iMac, and sure enough, that iMac, I went ahead and equipped it with a 3 terabyte hybrid drive, one that does indeed at least consist of some flash. Why didn't I get 3 terabytes of flash? Well, I would have run out of money for a system configured that way, but at least I have a portion of the storage that is flash. Sure enough, as we're about to see in this presentation today, NetApp recognizes the importance of flash-based storage from a performance standpoint and gives us either all flash-based environments or nice hybrid environments to work in. So this reduction of moving parts with the old-fashioned mechanical hard drives and this new and improved advances in flash technology are really revolutionizing what we can do with storage. And then, of course, there's cloud computing. NetApp recognizes that companies want to utilize perhaps public cloud infrastructures, or maybe they want to build their own private cloud, or maybe they want to use a combination of both of these in what we call a hybrid cloud implementation. So you'll see many software and many hardware products designed to assist with cloud computing, and of course, we will see some of those in this presentation. Now, NetApp takes their products and they organize them into 3 main categories. The first and the central category of NetApp products that you want to be familiar with are called unified storage products. And in fact, our recent course, and I'll show you the course at the end of this webinar, our recent course on NetApp entitled NCSA, NetApp Certified Storage Associate. Basically, for those of you familiar with Cisco, it's the equivalent of the CCNA that's popular with Cisco. This particular certification really targets the technologies that make up unified storage. Now, you might ask, what does it mean unified? I mean, where are they going with this term unified? Well, that's an excellent question. Let me answer it for you. They term these sets of technologies as unified storage because at the same time, simultaneously, these devices can provide NAS, network attached storage functionality, and these devices can provide SAN, storage area network functionality. That's right. So you may have aspects of your network enterprise that are perfect for NAS type behavior, and you might have other areas of your network that are in a storage area network configuration, and you have a device that's extremely flexible that can unify these 2 worlds. Just some quick review here. A NAS is what we call file-based access to storage, and a SAN is what we call block-based access to storage. And there are pros and cons to each of these approaches. For instance, with file-based storage that we get with the NAS system, we have more overhead. But it's often the simplest, easiest way to get users sharing storage in a network environment. So it has the negative of overhead, but it has a great positive going on of simplicity and low cost. The protocols that we often see with NAS are like CIFS in the Windows environment or NFS in the Unix environment. And the protocols that we see going on with SAN would be Fiber Channel and iSCSI as examples. So unified storage devices from NetApp are incredible in that they can marry these technologies together in single devices, giving you a lot of flexibility for how you are making storage available in your network environment. Now, one of the key elements of the NetApp approach to their unified storage products is FAS devices. That is fabric attached storage. And there are two main families of these products now. There's the 2500 series being currently produced and sold by NetApp. Now, there's plenty of other families. In fact, we used in our course a different family from this one, but you get the idea. Just like Cisco, they'll continue to create new and improved FAS devices, and they'll give them a slightly different numbering scheme. So here we can see the overview of the fabric-attached 2500 series devices. Notice as the numbers get bigger, so do the capabilities. So this would be the most affordable, smallest scale device. But boy, isn't it impressive. Look at this, 84 drives making up this particular storage device. 84 disk drives, and we're talking the smaller one of these particular units. And what's great about these NetApp units is, and we of course teach you this in our NCSA course, is you configure them for online support with NetApp themselves. So should one of those drives fail, and should you, maybe you don't even have a hot spare ready to go to take the place of that failed drive, you'll have a NetApp technician at your location with that drive in their hand within a certain time period in order to fix it. It's really, really remarkable. Now, notice one of the things that these devices have. They have flash pool functionality. Flash pool functionality, that's right. So you can have all, let's say we have a 2554 FAS and we have 144 disks inside it. Those can indeed be relatively low cost mechanical disks. But what we can do is we can, for no extra licensing cost or anything like that, we can enable flash pool functionality. So you'll have your solid state disk flash technology in a pool helping to improve the speeds that you can achieve with the I/O by adding flash to the environment. Now, notice the operating system that we use. One of the things that our courses does, our course here in NetApp does, is it of course teaches you the data on tap operating system. And there are two ways in which we interact with this operating system. As you might guess, one method, and the popular method, is the graphical user interface. It's called the on-command System Manager. That's just one of many graphical user interface tools that NetApp gives you. It's the main one. System Manager is the main one. But there's a whole bunch of software products all under this on-command umbrella. And we, of course, discuss those various tools in our course as well. But the main one is that System Manager product. Now guess what? As you might guess, there's also the CLI, which we teach as well. And just like in a Cisco world, there are indeed some things that can only be accomplished at the CLI. I'd say 95% of everything you can do in the graphical user interface, but there are some key things that you have to turn to the CLI to do, and that's why a knowledge of both the GUI and the CLI is a requirement for one of our students wanting to specialize in NetApp. Now, I promised you that these devices were unified in their approach to storage. And look at that. You can see the proof right there under storage protocols supported, can't you? There's Fiber Channel Protocol, there's iSCSI, there's NFS, there's CIFS, there's even Fiber Channel over Ethernet. Fiber Channel over Ethernet is so cool. I mean, before we used to have just, good old-fashioned Ethernet in the LAN, and then we'd have a separate network set up of Fiber Channel for the SAN. Well, now, thanks to primarily the invention of 10 gigabit Ethernet, we can now take these two forms of traffic, encapsulate one inside the other, and move it over these really high-speed links and use what are called converged network adapters that will understand this Fiber Channel over Ethernet traffic and send all of the SAN and the LAN traffic over a single common infrastructure. I guess that's another reason why we would refer to these devices as unified storage devices. They're not only bringing the NAS and the SAN together, they're also bringing Fiber Channel together with Ethernet for those particular devices that support Fiber Channel over Ethernet. Notice the FAS 2520 does not support Fiber Channel over Ethernet. So if FCOE is something that your company is really excited about, you'll want to do due diligence when you're picking your NetApp products to ensure you have a device that supports it. Now, just so we could have a really exciting Tim Allen moment, I don't know if any of you remember Tim Allen. He's still around. He used to have that Tool Time show on television, or gosh, it's been a long time. I don't remember the name of the show, but he was in that show portraying this man that absolutely loved power tools. And he would say, "Rah, rah, rah." He would grunt and get all excited about his power tools. We can't talk about unified storage with NetApp without taking a look at some of the higher-end FAS equipment. Here's the 8000 series, and you begin to see just absolutely amazing scalability here. Look at this, 1,440 drives supported in this device. There's flash pool capabilities of 144 terabytes. I mean, think about that. 144 terabytes just for the flash pool capability. Look at the amount of non-volatile RAM. This is great, especially those of us coming from a Cisco world where, we have like 2 meg of NVRAM. Here we have 32 gig of non-volatile RAM on the system. By the way, why in the world would you need that much NVRAM? Well, NVRAM is critical for a NetApp technology that we teach called WAFL, the Write Anywhere file system of NetApp. In order for this amazing file system to operate correctly, NVRAM is a critical ingredient. So lots of NVRAM on this particular device. Notice the operating system, data on tap, 8.22 or later, or 8.21 or later for these particular systems. By the way, something else we teach here at CBT Nuggets is the fact that when it comes to the data on tap operating system, technically there's 2 flavors. They're so similar, but they are indeed distinct modes of operation. You see, there's something called 7 mode, which is acting like version 7 data on tap and earlier, so we might kind of consider this the legacy mode. And then there's clustered data on tap. And clustered data on tap is the new gee whiz, amazing storage virtualization concept of taking your fabric attached storage devices and bringing them all together in a clustered environment as I described earlier. So it's very important as a NetApp professional that you have knowledge of both 7 mode and clustered. And of course, that's something that we do in our course. Now also in this unified storage umbrella of products from NetApp, we have things like Steelstore. What Steelstore is all about is the cloud, particularly cloud-based backup. That's right. So often today, companies are wanting to take advantage of the cloud for backup. Why? Well, think about it. I mean, you're not only giving great resiliency to your data by backing it up, but you're also doing wonders for disaster recovery. That's right. I'm here in Florida, and in Florida we have these terrible events called hurricanes. It could be that my data center ends up literally blown away or crushed by a giant live oak tree. Heaven forbid. But notice, we can have an entire location go down with flood, fire, wind damage, and we can be backing up to the cloud. Steelstore is a physical appliance from NetApp that is designed to stream your backup efficiently and effectively to the cloud. And sure, it works with NetApp products, but it also works with about 80%, I would say, off the top of my head, about 80% of the major backup software vendors. So if you decided to go with NetApp for your storage, but you wanted to go with someone else for your backup solution, Steelstore may certainly still be an option for you. Now, that was the area of unified storage and the main products that make it up. And those products that we spoke of are so critical in our course, NCSA here at CBT Nuggets, that really focuses on unified storage. But that's not all that NetApp does. Remember, I told you they had three main umbrellas of products, unified storage being the central, most important player, but they also have high-performance SAN storage devices. Now, as you might guess, these are absolutely, notice we're no longer talking unified, are we? We are saying, nope, to heck with the NAS, we are focusing on the SAN here. So these are very targeted devices, and it's no wonder they run a different operating system. They run what's called Santricity. Yep, the Santricity operating system is used here. As you might guess, these devices, they're focused on fiber channel. It's fiber channel or iSCSI. We can see that if we look down here at the ports. Look at this. We've got iSCSI optical. We've got fiber channel for the ports on these devices that are designed for strictly storage area network environments. Now we come to the third and just a hugely, hugely important area now for NetApp, and that is their third category. So we have the unified storage, then we had the SAN storage, and now their third category is enterprise all-flash storage. That's right, we're no longer playing a game with some flash, and that game would be to have a flash pool, and then in back of that, the old-fashioned mechanical hard disk drives. No, we're not doing that. We are absolutely eliminating these from the equation, and we are going with devices that have all solid-state flash in their operation. These give us never before dreamed of performance numbers. Just absolutely staggering input-output rates on these particular devices. Notice here is just one of them I wanted to show you, the EF550 all-flash array. 120 drives is the maximum for 192 terabytes of all solid-state flash storage. Notice SSDs ranging from 400 gig all the way up to 1.6 terabytes making up this particular system. Once again, operating system is handled by Santricity. Now, before I turn to your questions, I wanted to do just two more things. We've covered the new advancements in storage, which we're so excited about. Those were storage virtualization, flash, and cloud computing. We've taken a look at the three major categories of NetApp products: the unified storage, the SAN products, and the all-flash products. I wanted to go backwards a bit now and talk to you about something that falls under the unified storage umbrella that so many of our students get excited about and that we talk quite a bit about in our course, and we're even contemplating more courses on this. It's an initiative called FlexPod. And this is, for a lot of people, how they got involved with NetApp to begin with. FlexPod is a collaboration of Microsoft and VMware and NetApp and Cisco systems. And what you do is you buy a FlexPod, and what it contains is, let's say, VMware for the virtual machine. It contains all your VMware vSphere stuff. This sits on a Cisco UCS hardware system, which then connects to a NetApp FAS for the storage. So it's a turnkey data center, cloud-based, heavily virtualized infrastructure with all the components you need. Again, the VMware handling the actual VM virtualization, this sitting on Cisco Unified, I said UCS and wrote it as USC. That would be Unified Computing System. There we go. And then again, our NetApp there for the storage. Once again, both the SAN and the NAS storage that you want to utilize for flexibility in your infrastructure. So FlexPod is a very exciting component. The last thing I'm going to do, and I'd love for you to type your questions in now for me in the questions tab. And as I'm waiting for your questions, the last thing I'd like to do is just kind of point out where you can get more information about a lot of what we are discussing. So the NetApp course is, gosh, so easy to find now. Way to do it is just go to courses, and you can search by or vendor or trainer. So if NetApp isn't listed here yet, it will be. Oh, there it is. Look at that. So I chose the vendor path, and now I click on NetApp, and we are going to be taken to the umbrella NetApp training that's right now. That is our premier course, NetApp Storage at NCSA NSO-145. Yes, there is indeed a certification coordinate course. So you have not only learning, look at all of these topics that you're going to master regarding NetApp, but you're also going to have the ability to take an exam and prove that knowledge. The other thing I want to turn to for more information is obviously the NetApp site itself. If you go to products, you'll see those three main areas that we spoke of: unified high-performance enterprise. If you go courses in support, you'll get information about the certification options that NetApp offers. And then finally, another place I want to point out to you is the support site itself. Why I love the support site is there is a tremendous library documentation there that is indeed of charge for you. Now, that's hilarious. I'm using an unsupported browser. That's great. So what's great about that is it is free. You register for an account to get access to it, but that's a free process. And then once you have an account, you can go ahead and access information up there at NetApp. So I'm going to stop that screen share and return to the presentation here and take any questions that you might have. And while I'm doing that, I am going to put up this contact info for me. So if you want to contact me directly, you can do so via my blog or my Facebook fan page or my Twitter or my LinkedIn or finally my Google+. So let me check on our questions here. And of course, I knew we would get this question, and we have a question in the queue regarding upcoming NetApp titles. The answer is yes. I am sure we're going to do further NetApp training. What specifically that additional training might be from us is yet to be determined. We've heard a lot of people that want centricity training. We've heard a lot of people want FlexPod from start to finish training. We've heard FlexArray software. So we're getting requests, and we'll just continue to keep our eye on the majority, the bulk of the requests, and then we will be doing more NetApp training. As you know, another huge player in the storage world is EMC. We're currently right now releasing an EMC course. So plenty of new courses are in the works and will be hitting regarding the latest in storage technologies. Well, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Anthony right now, my mirror Anthony image, and thank everybody so much for their attendance. I think Anthony's got some things to wrap this up, some reminders to wrap this up with. I just again want to thank everybody so much for taking 30 minutes out of your day to take this tour of NetApp technologies with me, and I look forward to seeing you in our CBT Nugget courses here very soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Anthony. That was excellent, as always. Everyone, I just want to remind you that a recording is going to be posted to our blog, blog.cbtnuggets.com. Thanks again for attending, and have a wonderful rest of your week.